Evening peeps, good evening everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, let's jump straight in and see what there is to talk about this evening. Let's start with this one. David Hay, AJ should face White next. Needs a better performance to jump in with Tyson Fury. Yeah, fair. I think that's fair. Although I will say this, I did watch the fight again last night, and it's so different watching it on TV. You notice some of the good stuff that AJ did. I didn't see that ringside. You don't really see the feints sort of dipping to the left, dipping to the right, causing Franklin to miss on shots. You don't really see that because I'm only seeing really one angle of the fight. So as much as I wanted AJ to have a better performance, and a better performance for me meant a knockout, there were some good things that AJ did against Franklin on Saturday. Again, look, put my hands up. I wanted it to be a bit better. But I do think a lot of people miss some of the good stuff that AJ did. There's clearly some things that Derek James is working on. And I think give AJ, and hopefully he sticks with Derek James, but give him a few more fight camps with Derek James out in Dallas, Texas. I do think that, and that's an important part, being out in Dallas, Texas as well, by the way. Just getting away from home comforts. But yeah, give AJ a couple more fight camps with Derek James. And I do think that we will see improvements. I think a lot of people, including myself, have reacted too harshly to that performance. Again, this is a guy that's lost his last two. Mentally, I don't know what that does to you. He's not been active. AJ's only had, 3 fights in 3 years or something like that? It's been bad. That was his full fight, I think, in that 3-year period. So he's not been busy enough. He's not. So this is a guy that's not been busy enough. This is a guy that's changed trainer his last 3 fights, so it's been a different man in the corner, a different voice, maybe working on different things, and this is a guy that's lost his last 2. So maybe in hindsight the win was the most important thing. Again, I wanted a knockout, you guys wanted a knockout, even non-AJ fans wanted a knockout, but maybe it's just a case of him still fighting those demons of losing, right, of getting beat, of knowing what it's like to get beat as well, and just playing it a bit safe just to get the W. We've seen it in most sports. I guess when it comes to combat sports, we don't really accept it, but we see it in most sports. But yeah, I do think he looked a lot better on TV than he did up close. But yeah, I still wanted a better performance. As for should he face Dillian Whyte next, it seems like it's the natural fight to make. As much as I asked him the Tyson Fury question, I don't think it's one that he should take. As long as AJ has 3 fights this year and the 3rd fight is a Fury, is a Wilder, then I don't think anyone's going to have many problems with him having a Dillian Whyte now. I don't think anyone, I think most people would want that. I don't think most people want the Fury fight next. So yeah, I have no problems it being Dillian Whyte. And it doesn't need to be Dillian Whyte. Like, Dillian Whyte's the name we keep hearing. It could be a number of different fighters. It could be Hrgović. Hrgović is a big name. It could be Otto Wallin. Maybe not, but it could be an Otto Wallin. But why would you want to go and fight another southpaw? So I think Dillian Whyte's the obvious one. It isn't just a case of there's animosity between the two. You have to look at what sells. And I think a Dillian Whyte fight, and hopefully they stick to the O2. There's been talks about Wembley Stadium. No, I think a Dillian Whyte fight in the O2 would be fantastic. It would be a bit of a throwback to their fantastic fight a few years back. So yeah, I like the Dillian Whyte option. Dillian Whyte was obviously there, and he'll look at that performance from AJ and think AJ's now on the wane and he's very much beatable. But AJ should almost look at what Dillian Whyte has done recently and think you're very beatable as well. So it'll be 2 guys that think they can beat each other. The sell will be easy. And because it's 2 Londoners, if you like, I do think they'll pack out the O2 Arena. But yeah, look, back to that performance from AJ. I understand. And I'm almost telling myself this as well. This is a guy that's not been active. This is a guy that has switched trainers. This is a guy that's lost his last 2. So mentally, that there was maybe a safety first approach from him. And I think we all can kind of understand why. Trust me, if AJ was fighting Jermaine, and he probably wouldn't be really, but if AJ was fighting Jermaine Franklin off the back of a couple of wins. Like if Jermaine Franklin was the next opponent, I think we'd see a much more confident AJ. I just think it was a case of we have to win. We have to win. I think AJ said, and I didn't really like this, but I think he said in his post-fight press conference, no one's going to remember that fight in 15 years. And maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. But look, Franklin good, by the way. Franklin's not what we thought he was. There's clearly a good fighter there. This is a guy that's been boxing since he was, I think, 11, 12. Do you know what I mean? You've been doing something for that long, you're going to be pretty good at it. And he came in shape. He came rugged, dogged, wanting to change his life. And I actually still think he has, because I still think now he will get big fights. Obviously, he won't get the same kind of payday he got against AJ, but he'll be in good fights. But look, I'm just happy that AJ won. Not much damage, if any at all. Rest up for a couple of weeks. And he said it as well on his Instagram, I think yesterday, I'll see you in 12 weeks. So hopefully we get an announcement about AJ soon. AJ's not fought for 3 times in a year since, I'm going to say 2016. It's been a while. 2015, 2016. So it'll be good to see him be active. Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois, WBA formally orders heavyweight title consolidation belt. What does that mean? Just fight for that. I don't even know what that means. Oh yeah, okay, I do. Bear in mind that Dubois got the WBA regular, Usyk's got the WBA real. Consolidate both belts. No. Look, I get it. Dubois, he got a chance of beating the pound for pound number 1. Cruiserweight great. Now unified heavyweight champion, big money. I get it, but he's not ready for this. He's not. I mean, Dubois had troubles with Lorena, and his last fight prior to that was Trevor Bryan. This is a big jump. They've got to be careful. They've got to be careful. Like, I still think there are scars that Daniel Dubois carries around from the Joyce defeat. I still think that's there. I think I saw that in the Lorena fight. Usyk could really damage you. And Dubois eventually could be a big name for them. So they've got to be very careful how they match Dubois. So I think there will be a step aside option put to him, because I think Usyk will call out Deontay Wilder. I think that's a fight that needs to be made. So I don't think this fight's going to happen. Promoter, I'm guessing, is Dimitri Salita. Jermaine Franklin showed his ability to be elite heavyweight. Elite, no. Is that harsh? Elite, no. Very good heavyweight, yes. Elite heavyweight, is he for me a top 10 guy? No, he's not. Someone tried to chuck that at me yesterday, and I was like, no, he's not top 10. Top 15, maybe top 20. There's some really good guys out there, by the way. Top 10, not for me. I just think AJ struggles with smaller guys, by the way. Smaller, fast feet, fast hand guys he struggles with. So that's why, although people were completely writing him off against the likes of Joyce, I don't think you should write AJ off against Joyce, because Joyce is big, slow hands, slow feet. Don't compare it. Like, when you're thinking of heavyweights, you've almost got to put certain heavyweights in different brackets. Those small, slow guys, AJ is going to struggle with. We think we've seen it, right? Usyk's not small, but he's smaller than the new breed of heavyweights. AJ against the big guys, same size as him, slower than him, because AJ's pretty fast for a heavyweight. I think AJ can cause some damage to those guys. So don't rule out the likes of Joyce versus AJ. Eddie Hearn, I don't think the public are going to want AJ to have 2 more fights at Franklin's level. No, not 2 more. He might need 2 more, but I don't know if we think Dillian White's Franklin's level or just below or whatever. But for me, they'd accept 1 more. I think AJ now, a lot of people watched that fight and felt like, okay, there's a lot to work on. So I think AJ's now has got a bit of a free hit in his next fight. The one after that is when I think people are going to call for something big, and I think they'll get what they want. Diego Pacheco on Edgar Berlanga. He's with Matchroom now. No reason why that fight shouldn't happen. I interviewed Pacheco, didn't I? I did his in-ring interview after his win against Jack Cullen, and I said, look, I mean, there aren't that many bigger fights in America than Mexicans versus Puerto Ricans. There's a history of those fights. Edgar Berlanga is with Matchroom. Why not make it? I know Rosado wants that fight, so Eddie might go down that route, but maybe by the back end of the year, if Berlanga gets past Rosado, which is no gimme, by the way, no gimme, then maybe Pacheco is the fight we make. Lomachenko, in my mind, I'm undefeated. That's why I sleep very well. Okay, so was he referring to the fight against Salido, being maybe controversial because Salido come in overweight and he thinks he beat Teofimo Lopez. He didn't. And he's lost to. No shame. No shame in that. No shame. He's had a good career, Lomachenko. A very, very good career. Dillian White. Joshua is a CUNT. He wants to fight my leftovers and then talk shit. He didn't quite leave Jermaine Franklin as a leftover. It wasn't like, you destroyed him. There was a lot of controversy with that result. So I don't know if it's a case of him fighting your leftovers. I mean, AJ could say the same thing to you with regards to Povetkin. It's not your leftovers. There was still a lot left over of Jermaine Franklin. But look, the sell starts, people. Dillian White looked really big on Saturday. He's very mean looking, Dillian White. Every time I see him walk past me, I do think, did I say something bad about him? Did I say something bad? I can't remember. Like, did he? Is he looking at me? So mean. Scary. He's actually quite an intimidating heavyweight. He is. Joshua, deep down, I'm not happy because ultimate goal was a knockout of Franklin. Yeah, that was what everyone assumed it would be. But again, get back to the drawing board, get back to camp, work on a few things, watch some tape. What can we improve on? But I do think the one thing people forgot when they literally said AJ's done, he's no longer good, is that he's not been active. Not as active as he should be anyway. And he has switched trainers again and again and now again. So give him time, people. Give him time, please. Please. I'm asking on AJ's behalf. What else have we got here? Jaime Munguia's trainer, Eric Morales, says that Golovkin is leaving boxing for an indefinite period. Golovkin has given up, I think, a couple of his belts now. So maybe there is something in that, because there was rumors about Munguia versus Golovkin. There's been talks about Lara versus Golovkin, and then nothing happens. And all of a sudden you hear that Golovkin has vacated that belt. So there may be some truth to it. I would not mind seeing Golovkin call it quits. Golovkin is 40, going to be 41 when? Let's have a look. Golovkin's birthday is the 8th of April. Golovkin is 41 in, 5 days' time. Enough, man. Enough. These young kids. I hate the idea of these young kids who wouldn't have dared even step in the ring with him 10 years ago, beating him. Wouldn't have stepped in the ring with him. And for me, I would rather him just call it quits. He's made a lot of money, man. Golovkin would have made really, really good money. Those 3 fights with Canelo, those 3 fights alone would have made him around 80 million, surely. And then the other fights surrounding that, he would have made when it's all said and done, he would have made career earnings over 100 million. That's what I think. Could be wrong, but that's what I think. That there is incredible, especially when you consider how late he started making money. Like, he wouldn't have made great money until he was like 33, 34. So it's all happened in such a short space of time. And he doesn't seem to be someone that spends lavishly. Not that I follow him in any way, but he doesn't look like that kind of character. So what more do you want? You're going to go down as one of the greatest middleweights of all time. First ballot Hall of Famer. No problem. The only issue I had with Golovkin, and it's a small one, the only issue I have is that I think Golovkin at one stage had the opportunity to become a free-weight world champion. I think Golovkin would have beaten guys at 168 and potentially would have won a belt at 175. That's the only issue. And then you're talking about him being an all-time great as opposed to just a middleweight great. But it is what it is. What else we got? 2-6. Carl Froch here. This is all about Joshua, by the way. Carl Froch. Joshua has lost all his aggression and killer instinct. He was very hesitant. Yeah, that's because he's lost these last 2. It's difficult. Look, Carl might look at it a bit differently, and Carl's maybe got a right to say that, because I remember when Carl got beat by Andre Ward, and it was Lucien Carl's definitely got a completely different way of looking at it, because Carl got beat by Ward, and it was Lucien Boutte next. And look, there was a lot of talk, I think even from Carl's mouth, if you can go back and find those interviews on YouTube, that if he loses to Boutte, he retires. That was it, he retires. And the way Carl fought Lucien Bute, who at the time a lot of people were saying was the #1 super middleweight. I didn't believe it, but he didn't enter that boxing tournament they had. Was it Super 6, Super 8? Can't remember what it's called. He didn't enter that. So everyone thought this guy could be the guy. The way Carl bashed him up, like Carl took him to the ropes and bashed him up in what was a do or die fight. So I can understand why Carl is saying that. Anyone else saying that? No, but I can understand why Carl is saying that. Carl really, when it was all on the line, Carl just fought like life or death. And in the end, got the job done. This was interesting. I didn't even know this was happening. Mauricio Lara, Lee Wood. Obviously, on the night I got in the ring, I didn't know that I was going to do that till about an hour before I did that. I saw the running order and I was like, Lee Wood Lara? What? Honestly, I thought it was a mistake. I was like, Lara's here. He's like, yeah, he's over there. I was like, my God, him and Lee Wood are going to go again. Look, credit to Lee Wood. There are other options out there. Eddie really wanted to do the Josh Warrington fight. Kiko Martinez was a potential as well. Or anyone else. I mean, you could have a gimme, right? But he's like, nope, I'm 34. This is Lee Wood. I'm 34. What's the point? Let's go. Let's have a shootout. And he's going to go in there against a man that knocked him out. Risky, very risky. It's interesting that it's not in Nottingham. Now, it's at the AO Arena in Manchester, which is interesting for a couple of reasons. Number one, Lee Wood fills the Nottingham Arena. So you'd think go there. AO Arena is about, I think, 5,000 more. So they're assuming that this will get more fans, more supporters. But yeah, again, it goes back to that thing I said about Matchroom's schedule. It's really good. The Zone schedule is really good for the next couple of months. And I guess this one is another interesting one. This one is definitely do or die for Lee Wood. If he gets stopped again, back-to-back stoppages, could be that. Could be that. All right, I think, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Let's have a quick look on whose page should we go? Should we go Michael Benson's? Let's go Michael Benson's. What's he saying for himself? Anything? No, nothing there. Nothing there. No, not much. Not much. Okay, cool. All right, we're done. All right, guys, girls, I will see you on the next one.